Varsha Nusimlu, who's a marketing executive. Varsha.
My question is, if the free movement of EU citizens was restricted, would this create any skill shortages in the UK?
And it's Nigel Farage's turn for the first minute. Mr. Farage.
No, because I believe what we ought to be doing is operating a system of work permits. Work permits in terms of what are the shortages that we may have and what are the skills that other people may want to bring to us. But I think it's complete madness to say we have a total open door to nearly 500 million people and any of them can come. Not only do we not have quantity control, we don't actually have any quality control either. So what we're now doing is we're saying to people from India and we're saying to people from New Zealand who've got skills to bring to this country that we want, no, you can't come because we have to leave room for the now 4,000 people a week that are coming to settle in this country from southern and eastern Europe. And that strikes me as being a crazy immigration policy. Let's actually not think of it purely in European terms. Let's think of it globally. Let's be happy to give people work permits, which gives them the right to come and work in this country. They must bring some insurance to cover their health affairs. And if after a period of time they've been here and they haven't committed any crimes and they want to become citizens of this country, then they'd be good, acceptable people to have. And at the moment, we're not choosing on the basis of quality.
Mr. Farage, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Clegg.
Barsha, my view on this is that, of course, we should always do more to improve skills. That's why I'm incredibly proud of the fact that over the last 4 years we've expanded apprenticeships, for instance, for young British people, to give them the skills to find work on a scale that we haven't seen in a generation or two. Of course, we should prioritise giving skills training to British youngsters. But the idea that we help them then find jobs by pulling the drawbridge up, simply turning our backs on you, simply doesn't make it. I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, a German company, a household company, Siemens, announced they're going to create 1,000 jobs in Hull, in the Humber area, in a new offshore wind centre. 1,000 jobs for people in actually a part of the country that's desperately crying out for extra jobs. Guess what the chief executive of that company said? If we were not within the European Union, Siemens would make it quite difficult for me to continue invest in UK factories. There you have it. They wouldn't create the jobs for which the skills are necessary. That is why I don't understand in pursuing the withdrawal from the European Union, we would make our country poorer if we did what UKIP said.
The jobs would go. Nigel Farage.
They would go. The jobs would go.
Foreign direct investment is an important point. It is a key point. And I so well remember, Nick, you and all your gang, all the big corporates, all telling us 12 years ago that if we didn't join the euro, remember that? If we didn't join the euro, all investment into Britain would cease, the City of London would disappear, and all I can say is thank God we didn't listen to you. Otherwise, we'd have been in one hell of a mess. And despite the fact we ignored you then, foreign direct investment is coming into the United Kingdom at a greater level than it is to all the rest of the countries of the European Union combined. And fascinatingly, when Ernst & Young did a survey in North America and in Asia, where the big investments are coming from, 2/3 of both of those investors said actually, if the UK was outside the European Union and we didn't have the expensive regulatory regime, they may well invest even more money.
But I personally will, and I suggest many people would probably feel in the same position, you're going to listen to what investors actually say about the decisions that they make about investing in our country than politicians like Nigel Farage or myself. Just the other day, I was up in Sunderland. Nissan, a major employer, they employ over 7,000 people in the northeast. They export 80% of the cars they produce in Sunderland to elsewhere in Europe. They could not have been clearer. If we did what UKIP did, they wouldn't invest in Sunderland. There wouldn't be those 7,000 jobs. If you don't believe Nissan, if you don't believe Siemens, listen to what the chief executive of Ford in Europe said. He said, don't discuss leaving a trading partner where 50% of your exports go. That would be devastating for the UK economy.
Mr. Clegg,
I believe what they say, that they would not invest in this country if we were not part of what is the world's largest economy. Why would we pull ourselves out of the world's largest economy when 50% of our exports go to the rest of Europe?
You mentioned Ford. You are aware that they closed a plant in Southampton last year so they could move the work to Turkey. How does that square?
Well, of course companies move operations from one country to the other, but they will exit from the United Kingdom leaving thousands and thousands of families distressed in their wake because they will not have a breadwinner in those families, able to pay their bills, able to look after their families because the investment has gone, the jobs have gone. And that's what they're all saying. Just last week, we had an announcement from Hitachi, a big household name again, and they said they're going to make our country the global hub, the global headquarters of their rail business. And they said they're doing that because we're part of the European Union.
Mr. Clay, we must. Let's get Nigel Farage back into this. I want to give you you're going to respond. Nigel Farage, this is for you.
Let me answer the Ford question if I can.
Very
Nick,
quickly, if you would.
Because actually that happened with money given to Ford by the European Investment Bank, including such that we actually ourselves as taxpayers subsidised Ford to close down in Southampton and with European money moved to Poland. And this car market debate, we sell 1 million cars a year, Nick, to the European Union. All right, it's an important marketplace for it, declining, of course, because they're in real economic trouble. But they sell us 1.8 million cars a year, and cars of much higher quality and price. The point about trade is the German car industry needs the British market far more than British manufactured cars need the European market.
Mr. Farage,
and that's called the world of business.
Mr. Farage,
that is how it works.
Mr. Farage, respond to this.